In my last video, I looked at how the effect of extensions on XBRL can massively impact what you can do in terms of analysis. Values can be wrong or they can be missing. And yeah, it's just not going to work. So in this video, I want to look at how you can fix that and how you can do that really quite easily with the right tools. So in the sort of research I'd done previously, I'd kind of picked the Dow Jones 30 as a sort of indicative set of companies, just to have a look at uh, the size of the problem as far as extensions were concerned for that particular bunch of companies. And yeah, we put up some of the worst examples up here. Now, I've changed the examples here. And by the way, this is not a contrived sort of set of examples. This is basically me going, right, okay, well, let's look at the first company on the list, which is 3M, and see if there's any choice examples of extensions missing, of which there are. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. Let's start with 3M then, see it's first on the list, and maybe let's have a look at some of its competitors so that we can do some really valuable analysis of one company against the other. So I've picked a bunch of other companies that aren't in the Dow Jones 30 in order to get yeah, proper comparative companies. So that's why we got the 5 companies that I have chosen here. And yeah, if we move to have a look at them in our model, I built an extremely simple model here. You will see that we have got yeah, 5 companies here. We've got 3M, obviously, Autoliv, Corning, PPG, and Honeywell. So we're going to compare them against each other. And as you can see, we got an extremely simple model just for the purposes of keeping it nice and simple. We can see exactly what's going on. So all we have is just a look at research and development as a percentage of revenues, and we could pontificate about how that might be what drives revenue, and therefore might be a very useful KPI to have a look at. But yeah, so there's some sort of yeah, meaning in what we're trying to do here. But we're completely flawed right at the beginning, because if we have a look at these numbers, they're just a complete mess. We've just got values missing, and that's a real shame, because we've got all the XBRL. It's all down here in these filings, so we've got the data. It's just not quite at our fingertips. And the reason for it in this particular instance, this particular example ratio, is because of extensions. And so I want to show you how really easy it is to fix that. Now, before we do that, what I'm going to do actually is, before we even get onto extensions, because some of these values are not missing as a result of extensions, particularly these revenue numbers, they are missing because of the issues around yeah, standard totals in XBRL. Now, one of the things we do at XBRL XL is to fix that by bringing in a set of standard values. If we go to a filing, I can perhaps show you. You get a load of standard values in this column. Yeah, we charge a little bit for that, but obviously we've added some value, so we feel that's fair enough. So that I want to do first, just so you can see what impact that has before we move on to the whole bigger extensions issue. And in order to do that, I'm just going to bring up a different sheet. So yeah, I'm going to stop for a second, as it were, and then momentarily, and then I'm going to reappear with the new sheet. I'm back with the standardized data. As you can see, we have another column here, which is now filled up. Well, not another column, it was there all the time, it just didn't have any tags in. But now we've got the standard tags that we provide, in addition to the tagging as done by the company and filed with the SEC. So what impact does that have on our model? If we go over here, we can see that we've now got some more numbers filled in. We've got all the revenues numbers. So we got our base, which is great. But we now need to move on to look at the extension issue, because as you can see, all of these companies, who you might suspect would have done some research and development, because they're all quite big companies, yeah, there's no numbers for R&D. So let's have a look at a filing and see why that might be the case. If you'd watched the previous video, you would probably already be familiar with the fact that well, in the case of 3M, they have chosen to use an extension for research and development rather than the US GAAP tag. And there's method in the madness of why they've done that. If we look at the description, you will see they describe it as research, development, and related expenses. And they obviously feel that those related expenses mean that it's not quite research and development. Well, I'm going to beg to differ with that for the purposes of this particular example and model. As far as I'm concerned, this is the closest I've got to research and development. I'm pretty sure it's all going to research and development or something very similar. So that will give me an idea of what they're doing in terms of developing the long-term future of the company. So I'm not happy with it being an extension, so I am going to change it. Now, when I say change, I don't mean change, because actually we don't want to touch any of these values over here, because these are the as reported numbers. These are the numbers as you see them in the 10K, in the order in which they appear in the 10K. These are just what you would get from the company. Nothing has been changed with them. They are just the stuff that has been filed as XBRL, taken from that original HTML 10K. So we don't want to mess with that. We want to supplement it, just as we've done with the standard tags. The idea with the standard tags is that these tags are the ones that would have been nice if the company had provided, in addition to their own tagging, which is what we see in the column. These are just the way that the company has actually tagged it themselves. And we have these supplementary standard tags, which helps us to fill in the gaps. But sometimes those tags are wrong, as we've talked about quite a lot already. So we need an extra layer, and that's what we have here. So to help us to find those tags that we might want to add in, we have what we call the X financials. And the idea is this is a handy set of tags that would cover pretty much every situation in any kind of general analysis in terms of providing all the values you might want to use, plus any adjustments that you might want to make to those. So hopefully they are all there. This set we can expand, so I'm sure it will get a little bit bigger and bigger in order to make sure that everything is covered. But at this point, we want to research and development. So if we use Excellence Model Find feature, and research is already highlighted, that's quite handy. We just click on Next, and it will find us the item that we're looking for, the tag research and development. So we can close that down and just pick up that tag. And so what we're looking at here is not a bunch of tags that we have created. These are XBRO tags. Actually, I've said that there are 2 or 3 that we've used as supplementary tags. But essentially, these are XBRO tags, and the idea is it enables you to improve to your satisfaction, to your benefit, on the existing tagging which the company has done. So I'll just stop waffling about that and actually make the correction. So if we go down to our research and development and just slip that in, and then we can go to our model and see what impact it's had. And God blimey, we have now got research and development, and so we have the ratio that we were looking for, which is great. So that's sorted out for 3M, but we might want to sort it out for all the other companies. So yeah, let's go to our second filing and see that we have a rather similar problem. So we can again put the correct tag in, or our improved take on that tag. And yeah, rather than going to the model, we saw that they were all missing. So let's have a look at the third filing, see if we've got a similar problem. And blow me down. We've also got research and development extension tag for is it calling this time? So we can just slap that in, and we can go on so on and so forth, and improve our model. And suddenly we have some ratios that we can compare. We can see that Corning is the star here in terms of the amount of money they spend on R&D as a proportion of their revenues. And if we wanted to, build a simple model which said, well, the more they spend, the faster the company will grow, we could say, well, Corning is the one for us. So you can see how very, very quickly and effectively we can improve on the existing XBRL tagging in order to get to the values and data that we want. There's a heck of a lot more else going on in totalized As you can probably see from all this, the idea of this particular sheet is to enable you to validate all the values so that you know you have a comprehensive and absolutely correct model of the company and of their data. As essentially, this is based on the X financials over here, and this totalized sheet, which builds on the standardized sheet. This enables you to build your own set of values of financials, just like you might get from Bloomberg's or Reuters Thomson. All of that data is there, but it's come from a source that you can completely trust in terms of it's come direct from the company, and you have the ability to intervene either at this level or with layers of tagging, so that you can ensure that those values are absolutely correct. You can use the totalized sheet to make sure they all add up to your satisfaction, and then you can put them into your model with total confidence.